And we continue at 1:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, as I mentioned, we're just a couple of days away from the Drop of the Year show. It will be on Thursday, and any drop from 2025 is eligible, including this Ed Lasko's classic from March.
He is back, he is naked, and he's on the attack.
Oh, my.
I don't even remember what that story was.
How did that one not stand out in our mind?
He is back, he is naked, and he's on the attack.
Someone who is clearly overheating. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. It is our pleasure to introduce our next guest. You read him over at the Guss Report, which you can get online at danielguss.substack.com, and you can follow him on X at the Guss Report. Daniel Guss, welcome.
Hey, John and Randy, thanks for having me back. And I was going to vote for the Jelly Donut guy, but I have to go with the Lasko's clip.
The Jelly Donut guy became an instant classic.
He is definitely a contender.
It is a ringtone on my phone, by the way, now.
Okay, you got glare on and you still have donut hole.
I love him.
Well, I hope he finishes in the money.
Oh, God.
And that episode will air on Thursday, where we will determine just exactly which drop is the drop of 2025. All right, Daniel, while we have you here, I want to play a clip for you of Gavin Newsom in a sit-down with ABC7, where he was asked if the state of California has any culpability with the fire that ended up burning down Pacific Palisades. And it seems like he's saying, don't blame me, blame Karen Bass. It was LAFD that was in charge of making sure that fire was fully extinguished. Let's listen.
On the Palisades fire, there's allegations that a California state park official restricted the mop-up effort by the LAFD of that January 1st fire, which led to the January 7th fire. People are saying they chose plants over people. What is your reaction?
Well, I'm all for all independent investigations. We've launched multiple, as you know, in this fire recovery. As it relates to the specific issues of responsibility, and let's follow where that goes. The DOJ made the point that it was someone from Florida, out of state, in California, an arsonist, and they've identified that individual. Now, as it relates to the details of this, the LA Fire Department is lead. They're the ones responsible for that fire suppression and those works, and they'd be the right ones to ask as it relates to any independent analysis of where those facts lead.
Karen Bass isn't going to like hearing that. What do you make of that, Daniel?
You know, this is the perfect example of when they do a Dateline NBC and the detectives take all of the perpetrators in an armed robbery and put them in separate interrogation rooms and try to get them to turn on one another. I can tell you firsthand that there is enormous corruption at the LA Fire Department at virtually every level. But Gavin Newsom is a guy who spews words as a way of kicking the can down the road. They are probably all culpable to one degree or another. It's do you believe the guy who's a comfortable liar like Gavin Newsom, or Karen Bass, who's a terrible liar? It's like I can't believe either of them, and I can tell that it's the management of all of these fire agencies that's really culpable, not the guys who are, literally throwing their lives on the line to snuff out the fires. You can't believe the politicians at the state, the county, or the local municipal level. There's nobody who you can say, you know what, this person is a straight shooter most of the time, if not all of the time. I can't believe Newsom on anything, but I don't trust Karen Bass on anything either.
Well, it's one of these stories where if you read between the lines, he's blaming her. Because as you correctly pointed out, the on-the-line firefighters said, and they have the receipts on this, that the fire wasn't fully extinguished and they didn't want to move on to other areas. They wanted to stay there and make sure that their job was performed. And it was the political leadership in the city that told them to move on. Well, if the on-the-line firefighters said that the job wasn't done and they wanted to finish the job, and the mayor said no, and the governor is saying, okay, that was LAFD's job to fight that fire, and if you have a problem with how it was done, go talk to them. Well, who he's referring to is the political leadership of Los Angeles.
Right. You can believe the firefighters as a whole. I know dozens of them, and these are the real deal. They're the guys who just want to succeed at their job, and they're sworn first responders. Firefighters wear a badge, and they take a sworn oath to tell the truth and to save lives at the risk of theirs. Those are the people telling the truth. And when the politicians are at odds with one another, then they put the pressure on the lower politicians, the council members, the assembly members, the supervisors, the California state senators, and then, somehow the unions work it out and they all get raises and everything goes away, except we have thousands and thousands of victims. You can only believe the guys who were there on the front lines with the hoses in their hands and the smoke in their lungs.
We know that on the surface, Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris were political allies. They're both Democrats. They both came through San Francisco, the political machine there. Willie Brown is kind of the godfather to both of their political careers. They have a lot in common. They shared the same strategist, A. Smith. But we've recently found out through Kamala's book and through interviews that Gavin has given that they don't like each other, that they're frenemies, I guess would be a generous way of putting it, but they don't have a lot of respect for one another, and they certainly wouldn't socialize with one another if given the opportunity. It's all business between the two of them when they can be useful to one another. Do we know about the relationship between Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom? Because she came through LA politics. She was in Congress for a long time. He's never served in any federal office. I would imagine they know each other. I would imagine their paths have crossed on any number of occasions, but they wouldn't have the same connections as a Gavin and a Kamala Harris. Do we know what they think about one another privately?
I certainly have my thoughts about that, but do we know? No, because they have layers and layers of six-figure salaried public relations flacks who have one common theme. It's Trump's fault. It's the GOP's fault. It's red state's fault. So that is the only commonality that we know they have on a united front, and it's completely insincere. It's completely fabricated. But my gut instinct on this is that Bass is a politician on a downslide in crisis, and Newsom's about to hit a wall because the crap that he sells to California and to the bluest of blue Democrats, just hoping for somebody who can take on J.D. Vance, who is undoubtedly going to be the GOP nominee in 98. I think they're just going on a wing and a prayer, and they haven't remedied or resolved what happened in the last election. So I think Newsom is about to hit a wall, and Bass is on the downslide, and I think they are just figuring out how to worm themselves to the next election. And you can infer from that as you see fit. But do I know personally? No, I do not.
Here's what the tip-off was to me that led me to believe that he doesn't think too highly of her. Mm-hmm. When he had two different open U.S. Senate seats that he got to fill in California. And for one of them, he said he would fill the vacancy with a black female. That was a promise that he made. I believe it was to Joy Reid on MSNBC. It would be real easy for him to have appointed Karen Bass to the United States Senate at that point, because not only was she a mayor of Los Angeles, she was a longtime member of Congress, so she understands how Washington works. And besides that, she was on Joe Biden's short list for vice president, and it was Kamala Harris that beat her out for that job. So she came very close to getting the brass ring and didn't get it. To many people, it would be an easy putt to say, okay, you came close, you didn't get it. This will be the consolation prize. You'll get to be a U.S. Senator representing California. And not only did he not do it, I don't even remember hearing chatter that that was something that he was considering.
Right. That's the speculation for the insanely biased Los Angeles Times and the local flacks, because that's what they care about is who are you putting based not on merit, not on accomplishment, not on preparedness, not on for inherent management skills, but for what demographics the person checks. If your listeners, John and Randy, were to open the Amazon app, and I'm not endorsing Amazon, type in Karen Bass, T-E-E, like T-shirts. You will see, I'm looking at it right now, you could still buy a Karen and Joe or a Biden and Bass T-shirt. So that was really something that was at least being marketed at the time. But then again, I'm literally looking at a Biden Bass 20 T-shirt on Amazon. You can get it for under $20. And there are also other T-shirts there that say, Fire Karen Bass or Elect Karen Bass. And so that's literally the chess move that you described. And what you said rings true because there's no other way. If you've been around Gavin Newsom long enough, you know that everything is calculated out of how is this going to appear in the media rather than choosing, call me crazy, John and Randy, the best person for the job. And as you know, very quickly after she became mayor, Karen Bass's stock began to sink, not just with the fire, the inferno, but the homelessness and the missing billions.
We're speaking with Daniel Guss, who's the editor of the Guss Report. You can get him online at danielguss.substack.com. Daniel, let's shift gears here for a second because the LAPD is a department that is underfunded and understaffed. Los Angeles is arguably the most underpoliced big city in the United States, and the LAPD is asking for more money, saying that we aren't going to be able to staff the city through the Olympics, and that would be unbelievably embarrassing if something unfortunate were to happen, and we just don't have the resources to adequately respond to it. On the city council, it seemed like there wasn't much of an appetite to kick any more dollars their way or significant amounts of money their way. They want to delay it as long as they can. What do you see happening to the LAPD in the long term, particularly given the fact that the DSA voting bloc on that council seems to expand every time we have an election, where people who believe in defunding the police are now sitting in positions of power that have control over the budget of that department?
Well, not just the budget of the department, but on the Budget and Finance Committee for the entire city. And let's face it, Karen Bass is a de facto, if not a communist, then she's a de facto DSAer. Kenneth Mejia, who seems to be at least, of that group, of those who are politically minded like the DSA, is the one who's the most transparent about it. But yes, the rubber is meeting the road. They want the Olympics. They want the revenue. They want the visibility that comes with the Olympics. And by the way, do you know anybody that wants the Olympics? I don't know one person in Los Angeles that wants those games here. And so they have to provide, it's where they have to put their big boy pants on and actually secure all of Southern California from what will be a high-profile target for terrorists that Joe Biden let flood into the country. So they actually have to provide security at all levels, and they aren't prepared for it now. They don't want to pay for it as things get closer. And God help us, John and Randy, Paul Krikorian, the guy who mismanaged the budget of this city for more than a decade, is Karen Bass's point person for major events at the Olympics. They are literally passing around a hot potato. And as you saw this morning, Bill Asaeli and the FBI and Kash Patel, they busted people planning to blow up this city in 4 different locations on New Year's Eve. I said a year and a half ago, this city, if they can't handle this shoplifting and the copper theft, they are not prepared for a terror attack now. It's going to get worse, and I think the LAPD is going to be in even worse shape in the next year and a half as we approach the Olympics. It is a disaster waiting to happen, and you've got a preview of it early this morning.
Well, you raise a great point regarding that plot that was thwarted with those individuals out in 29 Palms who were planning on causing all kinds of havoc on New Year's. New Year's is obviously a big deal here in California and Los Angeles, to be specific, but nothing's going to be bigger than the Olympics. And if this is what we got for New Year's, which would be small potatoes compared to the Olympics, we need more eyes, we need more ears, we need more trained officers keeping an eye on what's going on in this state, because if you don't have the staffing that you need to adequately police your area, then things are going to slip through the cracks. And you do not want situations like this slipping through the cracks.
Right. And I'll tell you that the LAPD has plenty of, forgetting about the budgeting, under budgeting, the staffing and the overtime problems. The overtime that the LAPD spends on officers is due to the fact that they're understaffed. So it's like a chicken and egg thing. If they weren't so understaffed, they wouldn't need so much overtime. But I can tell you there are internal problems at the LAPD, the internal affairs, the office of the Inspector General. They can't even be trusted to investigate themselves. They have people who are counterterrorism commanders, very serious, big gravitas officers at the LAPD, and they are busy covering up their own dirty diapers. They don't have the time and apparently not the inclination to look out for us, which is really what they're here for. The LAPD is saturated in corruption and untrustworthiness, and that's why they may not have another graduating class early next year, because the young people who aspire to be police officers and serve their communities, they're like, why am I going to get involved with this? So it's even worse than you imagine, John and Randy, and I can tell you I see it up front firsthand all the time.
Well, if you're a criminal justice graduate at one of the universities and you have an opportunity to go anywhere you want, why would you go to LA over Newport Beach or Glendora or one of these other cities that are a lot saner, and the political power structure will back you up if something unfortunate were to happen?
Exactly. And what a lot of these smaller cities and municipalities do is that they wait for the new graduates to come out of the LAPD Academy, and then at the earliest available opportunity, they hire them into Glendora, or as Randy said, the city of Burbank Police Department. So the city of LA trains them, and then they get hired away to better pay, better circumstances in places that actually are interested in law enforcement. And may I add, Glendale, California also. You go to the city of Glendale, and it looks like you're on another planet from the city of Los Angeles.
Daniel Guss, thanks so much for stopping by. You can get Daniel online at danielguss.substack.com and follow him on X at The Guss Report. Daniel Guss, thanks so much for stopping by.
You guys have a great holiday. I'll see you next year.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Right now, it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again.
I see. Time for the California Crime Blotter.
And Randy, this one involves the world's oldest profession.
A big old brothel ring just got broken up in San Jose. For more, here's KTVU, Fox 2.
Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office says they have busted a brothel network that's worth millions of dollars, and it was being
Seriously, when the sex robots take over, the whole world's going to change. Because dudes
that'll
are
be
gross.
legal.
And it was being operated.
Well, that's the thing. If young men have an outlet for all of this horrific energy, whole world's going to change.
You think so, huh?
I would invest in those companies pronto.
And it was being operated, authorities say, by a single family.
And prosecutors say they were working out of massage parlors and
You don't say.
And it's a family business.
Husband and wife team.
Maybe grandma, too.
I mean, this is the thing. You drive around a big city like Los Angeles or San Jose, and you see some legitimate, beautiful spas, great places to get a massage, you get a facial. And then you see places with bars on the windows that say massage, or as Johnny, you like to say,
Yum Yum number 2.
What do you think is really going on in there? Is this really that big of a surprise?
I wonder if it's related to the donut shop.
Well, let's find out.
Okay, you got glare on and you still have donut hole.
I don't think he would be in that illicit business.
trafficking dozens of women. Our Ann Rubin has been working on this story. She joins us now live in San Jose with more. Ann.
Yeah, authorities say an astute officer from Morgan Hill.
Nobody legitimately goes to a strip mall for a massage. There, I said it.
I'm sure there are a few legit ones.
Most likely they're not.
Yeah, authorities.
And that goes for acupuncturists, too. That's also code.
Wait, that's not legit?
If it's in a strip mall, no.
Okay.
Yeah, authorities say an astute officer from Morgan Hill first flagged one of the massage parlors as suspicious, and that led to a massive multi-agency operation.
I'm sure a lot of investigating had to be done. They had to really dot every I and cross every T.
Deep cover, Randy.
It was called Operation Family Ties.
I wonder if Justine Bateman objects.
It was called Operation Family Ties.
Alex P. Keaton would have never done something like this.
No, he was straight-laced.
The Santa Clara County DA's trafficking task force says they've dismantled a network of brothels and arrested the family that runs them.
It's pretty clear to us that the primary business was commercial sex activity, even though they were masquerading as different massage businesses.
There were
no, I'm sure people came in just with lower back issues.
Oh, yeah. Well, they couldn't get in at the chiropractor's office, so they decided this is the next best thing.
Different massage businesses.
There were 10 of them scattered in strip malls all over.
What did I say?
You have a strong point.
Strip mall massage parlors, everyone knows what those are.
Different massage businesses.
There were 10 of them scattered in strip malls all over, from San Jose to Mountain View to Morgan Hill. Authorities
all over the Bay, the tech bros are getting, well, you know what they're getting.
Well, it's a lot of tech bros into reflexology.
That's another one.
From San Jose to Mountain View to Morgan Hill. Authorities believe Joseph and Bingwa Brise, along with their adult son, were...
Wait, what is that name?
Play that again.
Authorities believe Joseph and Bingwa Brise.
Bingwa Brise.
I've never met a Bingwa in my life.
I will say, although I don't know anything about Bingwa Brise, great name for a madam.
You think Bingwa is related to Bing Crosby?
Authorities believe Joseph and Bingwa Brise, along with their adult son, were running the operations and trafficking dozens of women.
Was the son going to take it over when the parents retired?
And then he was going to leave it to his kids.
We think based on surveillance that over 40 female sex workers were at these different locations. On the actual day of the takedown, we recovered 18 of them.
The women are being offered services through community-based organizations, but experts say it's challenging to...
And usually these girls are brought in, sometimes against their will, illegally from other countries.
Oh, yes. And sometimes they put them, I believe, in group homes, or they put them with people who can take care of them and get them away from that lifestyle. Can you imagine, instead of having a foreign exchange student, you go to the wife and you say, hey, how about allowing a Thai sex slave to move into the house? What kind of reaction do you think you'd get?
But experts say it's challenging to overcome the fear and misinformation they're receiving.
And make sure that survivors know that they have rights, that, yes, perhaps you feel in debt that you owe this person money, but you should be able to be free to go and perhaps repay your debt working through another job that's not exploitative.
The DA.
Wait, how much did they owe the pimps?
Wouldn't that be a great episode for a sitcom where the family, let's just say it's Mr. Belvedere. Let's say the family on Mr. Belvedere, although they haven't made a new episode of that show in a long time. Most of them are dead. Belvedere's dead and so is Euchre. But let's just say that family invited a Thai sex slave to move in with them. Hilarity would ensue.
The DA's office seized or froze $1.25 million in what they're calling illegal profits. The Brzezs are now charged with 26...
Wait, how much did they make?
Play that again.
In what they're calling illegal... DA's office seized or froze $1.25 million in what they're calling illegal profits.
They made $1 million off of you know what and you know what.
There's a lot of money in that business.
The Brzezs are now charged with 26 felonies, including criminal conspiracy, pimping, money laundering, and tax fraud.
This is a very serious case, and these are very serious charges. That being said, pimping is just a funny word.
Pimping, money laundering, and tax fraud.
While we want to hold people accountable for this commercial sex...
That's Ma Pimp, and there's Dad Pimp, and there's Lil Pimp.
Junior Pimp.
While we want to hold people accountable for this commercial sex work, we also don't want to penalize people that have been a victim of their financial circumstances or their immigration circumstances and that have to engage in this sort of dangerous and degrading work.
Bail was originally set at $1 million apiece for the Brzezs, but yesterday that changed and a judge released them on their own recognizance. Their next court.
Yeah, they're fleeing.
You think they're going to flee, or do you think they're going to open up a new business?
Well, they could do that. How long did it take them to operate this one before they got caught? Look, all I'm saying is that if our local and state governments really wanted to crack down on this, and it is a huge problem, we know where the establishments are, and they have business licenses.
All right, Randy, it's time to reopen the blotter.
If the cashier is dummy...
We couldn't make this stuff up if we tried.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
It's the California Crime Blotter.
And this one involves a 5150.
We go to Carmichael for this story where somebody got held on 5150 having that mental health crisis, but it turns out that if you're being held on a 5150, there's nothing physically that holds you into the hospital. You can walk out and steal somebody's car if you want.
And that's exactly what happened.
For more, here is ABC 10 in the Sacramento area.
New tonight, a man on a mental health hold walked away from a hospital in Carmichael and minutes later stole a car with a child inside.
Oh, my.
That's not good.
Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says it happened just before 4 this afternoon at Mercy San Juan Medical Center. Police say the man was on a 5150 hold in psychiatric care and deemed a danger to himself or others and walked away from the hospital.
What happened to the good old days of leather straps where you were bound to that table? You couldn't leave.
You were so crazy they 5150'd you, which makes you perfect to be a motorist on California roads.
Due to staff policy, staff are not allowed to physically restrain patients. So moments.
Then what's the point of a 5150?
What's going to happen is many of them are going to escape.
Due to staff policy, staff are not allowed to physically restrain patients. So moments later, officials say the man got into a running vehicle with a 13-year-old child inside. The child jumped out safely before the man drove off. The sheriff's office says the incident highlights a gap in the mental health system.
Hospital emergency rooms are not equipped for this. This is the gap, and this is what you see when you don't actually fund it properly and build an infrastructure to actually deal with the mental health crisis that we have. So
this is yet another side effect of the closing of the mental hospitals.
Can you imagine being that kid in the car where your parents' doctor, hey, I have to swing by the office to pick up some paperwork. I'm just going to leave you in the car, though, so just stay right here. And then the next thing you know, some guy in a gown comes running out of the hospital, Dukes of Hazzard style, slides across the hood of your car, jumps through the window, and off he goes.
So this will be treated as a stolen vehicle. So it is a felony, but this is a non-violent felony. So he's not going to do really any time anyway. If he's not out by tomorrow morning before sunrise, I'd be shocked.
That man sounds totally defeated.
Stealing a running car that has a child inside, non-violent felony, not a serious case, even though this guy's insane.
Great.
And deputies say the vehicle belonged to a doctor at the hospital. The man was located a short distance away and taken into custody by 4:30 p.m. without incident. No one was hurt.
So there you go. 5150 doesn't mean a whole lot.
800-222-5222 is telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Ron in San Jose. Ron, hello.
Hey, guys. That 5150 case you were talking about, did that happen in Southern California?
That happened in Carmichael, so in the Sacramento area.
Okay. Well, I was a cop in the South Bay area for almost 30 years. I've been retired for about 20, but anytime I booked a 5150 person, it was into a locked psychiatric facility. It was almost like a jail. Before you could get in there, you would have to take your gun off or put it in a gun locker, put it in the trunk of your car, secure all your weapons, and they would have to literally buzz you in through an electronic gate system. I cannot remember or recall one time when a person who was a 5150 was left untethered, so to speak, at a county hospital. So I find that really surprising that would happen.
Yeah, it seems to be relatively common nowadays. I told a story about one of my former coworkers who was murdered by someone who was at a hospital on a 5150, and all of the mental beds were taken. So they put him just in general population in the ER, and the guy was able to escape and then cause all kinds of havoc in the neighborhood. But yeah, this is something that clearly shouldn't happen, but does.
The only caveat to that I could think of is if, for instance, a 5150 person was severely injured and you had to take them to the emergency room first, and then once they're medically cleared, they would take them over to the psychiatric facility. But even so, in those cases, of course, this was 20-something years ago in the South Bay, they were either handcuffed and leg shackled to a gurney. I mean, they had special areas within the emergency room for when the cops would bring in arrestees to get treated. They were sequestered away from the regular population. So I got to tell you, I was really surprised when I heard you guys talking about that story. So that's all I have for you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. And Randy, it's time to reopen the blotter.
It's happened yet again.
It's Wild Wild West out here.
It's the California Crime Blotter with John
and Randy.
And Randy, I have a feeling this one's going to involve some kind of reference to either the Grinch or Scrooge.
Yet again, thieves have struck a home in the Bay Area stealing Disney-themed Christmas decorations. They moved on from San Jose to Campbell. Here's NBC in the Bay.
All right, the Grinch is out this holiday.
You called it.
Right out of the gate.
All right.
Look, it's the end of the year. Everybody's checked out. You know this is going to happen.
All right, the Grinch is out this holiday season working as a serial stealer.
Good alliteration.
Working as a serial stealer. From San Jose to Campbell, he's got a list of very particular Christmas decorations that he's after. As NBC Bears Jocelyn Moran tells us, the Grinch apparently loves Disney.
You're right. Everyone's just phoning it in.
Wait a second. I thought the Grinch was a Universal property.
The decorations are out in San Jose and families are enjoying the holiday lights. But unfortunately, we're learning of more people who have seen their holiday decorations get stolen from their front yards.
Tonight in San Jose, you can feel the holiday spirit. Homes are decked out with holiday lights and families are walking around taking it all in. Keeping up with putting out all the decorations every year is not easy, but neighbors do it anyway.
Why is it important for you? What makes you do it every year?
My husband has had years of wanting to quit, but then when people thank him, I don't know why I'm crying, but he does it every year because he feels like...
Okay, this might be a little much.
Okay, you're putting it on way too thick, lady.
Your Mickey Santa got stolen.
Yeah, she's acting like her kid fell in a well.
The neighbors come together, they get to know their neighbors, and it's just really special.
Or is it how neighbors can try to brag on each other that, hey, I'm better at house than you?
Yeah, no, she wants to dunk on everyone in her neighborhood who aren't as creative.
I got more Christmas spirit than you do.
And that's what it's about, bringing people together.
No, it's not.
I bet you it's the same people who we profiled last week, too.
And that's what it's about, bringing people together during the holidays. But someone is trying to ruin that holiday spirit. We told you about Nathan and Amanda Steele. They got their Disney-themed decorations stolen off their front yard last week in San Jose. Video captured the suspect dressed in dark clothing picking up the decorations. But tonight we're hearing from more victims.
I was leaving the house at like 6 a.m. and the minute I walked out, I was like, my Mickey and Minnie are gone. My giant inflatable is gone. My inflatables are down because they were unplugged.
In this surveillance.
Oh, my.
I don't know what it is about people stealing Christmas decorations or moving them or adjusting them or unplugging them, but it seems like it's very, very, very common. And I don't know what the impulse is to do something like that.
In this surveillance video, you can see someone go up to Judy's front lawn and unplug the cords. Judy tells us it happened in Campbell on Tuesday morning. As the person leaves, you can see there are decorations missing from her front lawn, and the person is also carrying 2 water jugs.
They just walked away within 2 minutes, and that was it. And I still, if you see a one-eared Mickey, I still have one of the ears from Mickey that they left.
They took Mickey's ear?
A one-eared Mickey? What, was he injured during the war?
They left behind when they ran away.
Judy has also seen posts online with similar stories. A couple of people on Nextdoor have posted in recent weeks that their Disney-themed decorations were stolen.
I was so pissed. I cried. I was like, I've had that skating Mickey and Minnie for years, and it's just like, this has never happened in our neighborhood.
For Judy, the decorations are about bringing people together. She's been hosting holiday parties for nearly 20 years.
That was like my welcome decor in for the holiday spirit. Stop stealing.
Okay, there are just a few people in this story that are thinking a little too much of themselves.
How much do you want to bet she's part of an HOA?
Stop stealing other people's things. It's just not the right thing to do, especially in the time of the holidays.
Jocelyn Moran, NBC Bay Area News.
So there you go. If you've got Disney Christmas decorations in the Bay Area, watch out because the thieves are coming to you next.